sound so much different than him. So I don't know why you guys think that.
Okay, you don't sound that much different.
So did you scam movie be candidate?
No, I'm just kidding around.
Did you scam movie? Am I going to be the star of the show?
No, unfortunately. I'm about to read a poem.
Canada's shitting right now. Could you give him a moment? Is he? Could we see it on your live feed? I'd like to see that. Z has offered you a Blumpkin in this time.
Ooh.
Will you accept?
I'll accept anything from Z. Z is the one. She is an angel.
Ew, get away from me. You're 7 years old. You need to be funeral home shopping. You need to go shopping for your fucking casket, not flirting with young girls like me.
Funeral spots, yeah. That's a good point. I'm gonna use that as my pickup line. I'm gonna say tonight or Friday night. I'm gonna say, my friend said I should be shopping for a funeral gravesite and a headstone instead of flirting with you. If you're not free Palestine, don't even try.
I actually did free Palestine.
Yeah, I'm also
You know what I did?
Palestine.
Okay, I bought a kafia or something, and I bought something with a watermelon on it. And they told me when I bought it that I would be free in Palestine.
No, that's not how you free people.
Okay.
You have to attack the oppressors to free the people, unfortunately. That's how slavery was abolished. They didn't go talk about the economic growth, about like teaching students or teaching children about business and shit. They didn't do that to stop slavery or plantations 40 years ago. No, I didn't do that. Fuck that.
Bye. Bye.
Are you excited for my candidate?
No, I'm gonna read you a love poem to change your life forever, and everything will always be, onwards and upwards after you hear the 60-second reframing poem. Let me put my glasses on.
Can we all look at the title and talk about it? What's going on with Danny? Where's she going?
Where's she going? She's gotta go to the gas station to go get some fucking milk to put in her coffee. Duh.
I thought it was gonna be the gas chamber. I got so scared.
Ooh, flashback. Genocidal. Genocidal, generational. The 2 Gs.
I'm excited to see what the next generation does with genocide.
Genocide is not going to stop. It's always going to be here
No, it's
because
going to get magnified.
well,
Right now, this
Big Pharma almost took us all out. I lost
10 years ago,
I
there
lost
was 30
my.
million refugees. 10 years later, which is now, there's 100 million refugees.
What's a refugee? What's a refugee really when you think about it? It's just someone having to relocate. It's like changing apartments. You got to get a mover. It takes a lot of time and effort and money. Minimum $1,400.
Refugees don't get movers. They're immigrants. Immigrants get movers. Refugees don't have the luxury. Very different. Not educated either.
Refugees are dispossessed and they used to on purpose, like not out of their own will, not in their own will. You stupid ass bitch. You will never be a congressman. You stupid hobo. Fuck
There's
you.
more slaves. There's more slaves today than there were in the past. Like 100 times more slaves.
Really?
There's 20 million sex slaves. There's 20 million sex slaves. There's almost 200 million children working under the age of 10. There are over 100 million actual slaves. And then you take into account we keep fueling the lowest price of everything. Like we always want the best deal. We're financial slaves.
We're slaves.
We're financial slaves, but it's not the same thing as slaves. Like it's different. This is a banana republic. We're economically encapsulated within this bounded system. But like these people have no choice.
Actually, sounds so fucking sexy when you say it.
But it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get to 400 million slaves by 2036 or something. I bet you it's just gonna get progressively worse.
And hey, when I come to Canada, I give you oral.
Woohoo!
95% is like their goal to encapsulate plantations and type of shit like that. Or banana republic. They were 5% ended up being that.
That's a very good analysis and fantastic breakdown of the numbers. Moving forward, we just have to make sure that when Danny goes to the gas station, she has at least $10 to pick up the bare necessities. Oh, she already. Oh, never mind. Danny's here.
Danny, why don't you just run away instead of
That bowl is for you, Danny.
Are you smoking weed right now?
Yeah.
I don't really get high anymore.
Yeah, maybe you're not smoking good weed.
No, I've been smoking since I was 14. I have a medical card. I've been smoking an ounce every
So
3
is
days.
your weed free?
Mine, no. I gotta pay $200 an ounce.
Because our weed is free. You get a medical card.
So can I go to Canada? Can I find a sexy Jewish Canadian man to be with me?
Probably. Everyone's like, cuffed up.
I don't believe that all of Canada is cuffed up.
Yeah, cuffed up.
So if I marry a Canadian, how do I become a Canadian citizen?
You just become a Canadian citizen by marriage. It's not like America where you don't get married. You can't get marriage passports anymore.
You can't?
Danny, you need to work on your tempering. This is what it says.
No, you get a PR card.
Overpraising the gifted leads to contentiousness. Over-evaluating the precious invites stealing. Craving the desirable loses contentment. The natural person desires without craving and acts without excess. By not doing, everything is done.
That's not true.
No, that was good.
Jesus tells us to work.
Listen. He gave me a message he felt I needed to hear in that moment, and I think it spoke to me and what
Yeah, it's gonna make you feel like you don't have to do anything to fix something, but that's not a form of
telling
fix.
me that I'm a little bit extra and I don't need to do so much. It's
That's
what
true.
he is telling me.
Yeah, don't do so much. Don't be extra.
I don't understand the $10 at the gas station comment.
10 out of 11, 10 out of 9. You haven't even heard Shema yet. Have you said the Shema yet today? Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Rebbeinu Shalom.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
It says the great integrity is an endless abyss, yet it is the inexhaustibly fertile source of the universe. It blunts.
That's what it just said. The great integrity is an endless abyss. That means you have to have integrity to work, you know? It's an inexhaustible, fertile source of the universe.
It blunts all sharpness, unties the entangled, and merges with the dust. Hidden but ever present, this parent of the gods, whose child may it be?
Your child. Boji is your child.
I was so lucky to have a child.
Well, I'm recording Dao De Jing here on YouTube because I have come to the conclusion, after many years of talking on this app, that talking any further would be a waste of my time, and listening to a lot of the people on this app 100% is a waste of my time. But I'm recording three-minute clips here on YouTube, and I'm at 30,000 videos on YouTube. We've got over 5,000 subscribers. And guess all I do is read a book. I read books. Narges is here. Narges has read many good books with me.
Okay, now, can I give you an idea since I'm full of them and
place?
Sure.
Have you brought your files over to Spotify? And
I tried. I worked there for a little bit. There's just no audience. It's like doesn't even compare to the size of YouTube. It's like, but I know what you're saying. The Spotify podcast, Spotify creators.
Maybe there's something you need to cater to. Maybe you need. Is there a way to see what people are searching? Could you get there? What's the word?
Yeah, the keywords. Yeah, I agree. That's the way to go about it. Is to look at what's trending and then title all my stuff with what's trending.
Yeah, but even yes, you could title it, but you could even make content based on that. So if you see they're looking for a specific book, you could then read that. I don't know.
No, the Tao book is universal. It's like reading Tanya. See, what I'm really what most people don't realize is that your whole life, your entire success depends on the sounds that you're able to make.
What if you're mute?
Well, then you simply just have to see reality.
What if you're deaf and blind and mute?
What the fuck is wrong with this son of a bitch? Is there something up his anus? Is he gay?
I don't know. He left when I said I'm happy I had a child. Like I am so happy that I'm a mother. You know, I'm happy to be born. I'm happy to be a clubhouse.
Problem with Boo Boo.
I'm
Why
happy
doesn't he
to
sucking dick?
wake up
Take
every
it out on
day.
her. Shut up, Danny.
I'm grateful for my life, my family. I'm grateful for this country. I am grateful for
Well, you're gonna fuck diapers. I can't anymore.
why am I gonna die soon? Why am I gonna die
can't with
soon?
AK anymore. He's
Who's gonna kill me, Nectar? Who's gonna kill me, Nectar? Let me know.
Dimitri.
You said I'm probably gonna die soon. How am I gonna die? What will take me out? Miss Witch, please let me know. Gypsy Fairy. I told you guys that Akshay hated me. Did I not call
Yes,
it?
look at Danny. I can't stand this fucking whore. She's talking over me, and she's disrespecting me, and Akshay's a cunt.
That's what Danny does. That's just her thing. We all know that. I mean, we can't change
Yeah,
that.
I would slap the bitch out of her face anyway.
Yeah, her face is pretty punchable, to be fair, Danny. You have a face people just want to punch. I want to have a good day.
By the way, Ted, tell Rick to go finger his ass, okay? Because he's a gay motherfucker.
Maybe.
Rose, give me a mod, please. I'm not gonna kick anyone.
Why did we come back today?
Would you be sad if everything was your fault?
Okay, I want AK to come in here because I'm gonna fucking rip him to pieces because he's just fucking sissy. Boo Boo, I don't know what's between you and him, but he's taking it out on me.
I don't know why he's taking it out on you, but he's hated me a long time for seemingly no reason. And it comes down to misogyny, to be honest, because he's just angry because I put men in their place and he always gets triggered, that's all it is. I'm telling you.
No, don't do that because they don't like that. But all I can say, he's a dick for taking it out on me. I didn't do anything to him. He's like, I don't like you, Nectar. I really don't care if he does or he doesn't.
You put men in their place as well, just without trying to. If he doesn't like that, he probably hates me for doing that. Did you see his little outburst when he's like, she deserves to be there, she doesn't take responsibility and all this and all that? That's all
Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye.
No, this son of a bitch is recording the room. No.
People to slow down or not? That's just something you invented. I can't indulge with so much in something you invented now. If you want to give me if you want to give me a real example of that situation, then I will absolutely engage. But you literally just invented some shit.
Well, you have to give me a real example about poor people commit more crimes. Give me a real example about because you got to give me an example that poor people are committing that.
I'm going to use some same stats that you talk about.
No, you can't answer the question.
Yes, it is. Right, this doctor's bringing the thug to mama, right? No, she's not. You'll never see her. Or she would tell you to lie and say that you have a degree in something else, or you're working for all your bachelor's.
Okay, this is Don Book of Wisdom about two. This is Canada John. These are 3-minute recordings for YouTube. Okay, my B computer device battery is dead, so we're gonna give it like a couple minutes to charge up. We're also gonna go live on X, and we are already live on multiple YouTube accounts. It's always nice to see the comments when I look back at all those live streams. Hope you're enjoying the show. As we move on to our second cup of coffee for the day. Because Kennedy John, we're going to read the Tao Te Ching. Hope you enjoyed this little audio segment. Go to johnforcongress.com. Uncle Flo with the $45,000 plan. Somebody's profile just popped up in my clubhouse room. Okay, we got all these phones running. Here we go. This is our first Tao Te Ching reading of the day. This is candidate Congressman John Kitover reading UNLP ASMR Tao Hypnosis. Hit the like button. Subscribe now. This is the Tao Te Ching. Verse 3, tempering. Overpraising the gifted leads to contentiousness. Overvaluing the precious invites stealing. Craving the desirable loses contentment. The natural person desires without craving and acts without excess. By not doing, everything is done. The great integrity is an endless abyss, yet it is the inexhaustibly fertile source of the universe. It blunts all sharpness, unties the entangled, and merges with the dust. Hidden but ever present, is parent of the gods, whose child may it be. Yin and yang aren't sentimental. They exist without moralizing. They act regardless of our wishes, within the ebb and flow of every pregnant moment. Space between yin and yang is like a bellows, empty yet infinitely full. The more it yields, the more it fills. Countless words count less than the silent balance between yin and yang. The spirit of life never dies. It is the infinite gateway to mysteries within mysteries. It is the seat of yin, the spark of yang, always elusive, endlessly available. The great integrity, having had no birth, expresses its immortality without pronouncements. The wise are heard through the silence, always self-full through selflessness. The highest good is like water, nourishing life effortlessly, flowing without prejudice to the lowliest places. It springs from all who nourish the community with a benevolent heart as deep as an abyss, who are incapable of lies and injustices, who are rooted in the earth, and whose natural rhythms of action play midwife to the highest good of each joyful moment. Okay, this is the Tao Te Ching verses 1 through 8. Hit the like button, subscribe now to listen to more Tao Te Ching. Tao Te Ching, the book of the great way, the great integrity. You don't know about the book of the Tao? Overpraising the gifted leads to contentiousness. Overvaluing the precious invites stealing. Craving the desirable loses contentment. The natural person desires without craving and acts without excess. By not doing, everything is done. The great integrity is an endless abyss, yet it is the inexhaustibly fertile source of the universe. It blunts all sharp
time.
Verse 3, tempering. Overpraising the gifted leads to contentious. This is the couch. Verse 3, tempering. Overpraising the gifted leads to contentiousness. Overvaluing the precious invites stealing. Craving the desirable loses contentment. The natural person desires without craving and acts without excess. By not doing, everything is done. The great integrity is an endless abyss. It is the inexhaustibly fertile source of the universe. It blunts all sharpness, unties the entangled, emerges from dust. Hidden, but ever present, is parent of the gods, whose child may it be. Yin and yang are sentimental. They exist without moralizing. They act regardless of our wishes, within the ebb and flow of every pregnant moment. Space between yin and yang is like a bellows, empty yet infinitely full. The more it yields, the more it fills. Within mystery, our experience enriching our intuition. The naming of the unnamed, the infusion of our reasoning consciousness with our intuitive consciousness, the unnaming of the named, the dissolution of alienation from our reasoning consciousness.
we go. I'm just gonna create a quick reel. The highest good. The highest good is like water, nourishing life effortlessly, flowing without prejudice to the lowest places. It springs from all who nourish the community with a benevolent heart as deep as the abyss. Okay, this is Dow book read by John Kitover, candidate congressman. I hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna restart the clubhouse room, and then we're gonna continue on.
Summer it's super light, so I don't sweat underneath. Like if I'm wearing it all day,
even my suits, like the lining of the suits, you can like also like say, hey, I want this to be like breathable. I want this suit to be breathable. Like,
Okay, this is double hypnosis. Okay, this is double hypnosis. Thanks for being here, Canada John. Highest good is like water, nourishing life effortlessly. This is your Foundation NLP ASMR Gnosis. It springs from all who nourish their community with a benevolent heart as deep as the abyss, who are incapable of lies and injustices, who are rooted in the earth, and whose natural rhythms of action play midwife to the highest good of each joyful moment. Verse 8 commentary. From an evolutionary point of view, we can differentiate 4 stages of goodness. 1. The goodness that was expressed in the communality of tribal times during which survival depended upon the total cooperation among all members of the tribe. 2. The goodness that Confucianism and other religions advocate as an expression of the more altruistic side of our personalities. The assumption in these advocacies is that goodness requires an effort, a struggle against our supposedly innate tendencies to be selfish and sinful. The goodness that is expressed in this verse, which implies that while both goodness and badness coexist, that it is goodness that flows effortlessly like water, because it is goodness that is more at the core of nature. 4. The goodness that transcends goodness when, in our future evolution, the polarization of good and bad might no longer exist. Instead, we can envisage the actualization of a socially enhanced inherent humanity. It is only this 4th type of goodness that fully expresses the great integrity. Over fulfillment, verse 9 of the Tao Te Ching. Keep filling your bowl, and it will spill over. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Keep hoarding gold in your house, and you will be robbed. Keep seeking approval, and you will be chained. The great integrity leads to actualization, never over fulfillment. Verse 9 commentary. Our culture conditions us to keep filling our bowl even after it is full, to keep accumulating more money even after we have enough to meet all our needs, to keep reaching out for more accolades even after we have been fully acknowledged. No other species ever seeks more than it needs. To do so is a pathological symptom that negates the very fulfillments we crave. If we reject Freud's thesis that human beings are biologically self-destructive, what is the explanation for these self-negating behaviors? When our bowl is the community bowl that we fill and use collectively, we never overfill it. When a knife is the community knife that we sharpen and use together, we never oversharpen it. When our possessions are community possessions that we gather and use for each other's mutual benefit, we never miserly hoard them. When love is freely expressed, naturally nurturing each member of the community, we never seek it with insatiable desperation. But in our culture, each of our bowls is our own bowl, competing with every other fulfilling. Tauma.
Eternal Rising candidate John, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Bien good. How are you?
I don't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't. How are you? Eternal Rising, Tao Boom, and Hypnosis. You know I met Tao Master, but don't you? Do you know about him?
No.
Oh, look him up because he is a Taoist master of our time still alive.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I wrote it there on the chat. I met him in person. And he's super wise and healthy in his 70s, doing around and teach people about golden flow alchemy in the body from the cosmic healing energy from Wuxi.
Interesting.
If you just look at his name and look in AI or YouTube or Facebook, you get to see him teaching a lot.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go refresh my coffee in the kitchen. I'll be right back. But we are
Enjoy your coffee.
we are reading.
Different timeline.
It springs from all who nourish their community with a benevolent heart as deep as an abyss, where incapable of lies and injustices, who are rooted in the earth, whose natural rhythms of action play midwife to the highest good of each joyful moment. Verse 8 commentary. From an evolutionary point of view, we can differentiate 4 stages of goodness. 1. The goodness that was expressed in the communality of tribal times during which survival depended upon the total cooperation among all members of the tribe. 2. The goodness that Confucianism and other religions advocate as an expression of the more altruistic side of our personalities. The assumption in these advocacies is that goodness requires an effort, a struggle against our supposedly innate tendencies to be selfish and sinful. The goodness that is expressed in this verse, which implies that while both goodness and badness coexist, that it is goodness that flows effortlessly like water, because it is goodness that is more at the core of nature. 4. The goodness that transcends goodness, when in our future evolution the polarization of good and bad might no longer exist. Instead, we can envisage the actualization of a socially enhanced inherent humanity. It is only this 4th type of goodness that fully expresses the great integrity. Overfulfillment, verse 9 of the Tao Te Ching. Keep filling your bowl, and it will spill over. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Keep hoarding gold in your house, and you will be robbed. Keep seeking approval, and you will be chained. The great integrity leads to actualization, never over fulfillment. Verse 9 commentary. Our culture conditions us to keep filling our bowl even after it is full, to keep accumulating more money even after we have enough to meet all our needs, to keep reaching out for more accolades even after we have been fully acknowledged. No other species ever seeks more than it needs. To do so is a pathological symptom that negates the very fulfillments we crave. If we reject Freud's thesis that human beings are biologically self-destructive, what is the explanation for these self-negating behaviors? When our bowl is the community bowl that we fill and use collectively, we never overfill it. When a knife is the community knife that we sharpen and use together, we never oversharpen it. When our possessions are community possessions that we gather and use for each other's mutual benefit, we never miserly hoard them. But love is freely expressed. It springs from all who nourish enrich their community with a benevolent heart as deep as the abyss, who are incapable of lies and injustices, who are rooted in the earth, whose natural rhythms of action play midwife to the highest good of each joyful moment. Verse 8 commentary. From an evolutionary point of view, we can differentiate 4 stages of goodness. 1. The goodness that was expressed in the communality of childhood. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient Chinese book composed of only 5,000.
Okay, we're continuing on with Dao De Jing. Hope you're enjoying. This is your ASMR NLP Tao De Jing hypnosis, read by hypnotist and candidate Congressman John Kitover in the 16th District. Verse 10, limitations of the Tao De Jing. When embracing the unity of mind, body, emotions, and spiritual being, can we transcend our fragmentations without leaving a trace? When Qigong sculpts sinew suppleness, and our flesh becomes soft as a newborn babe, can we cleanse the inner vision, leaving mind in spiritual purity? Can our affairs of the heart and our affairs of state be so unconditional that we grant unqualified permissibility? Can the gate to yin be opened without inviting yang? Can our reasoning mind be purged of coercion, allowing our heart its unfettered joy? Can we act like every other species, seeking no reward, taking no pride, guiding without enslaving? Such is our vision of the great integrity, on whose path we have at last planted both feet, ready to move step by step until we arrive at the great unfettered gate. Verse 10 commentary. There are two principal implications about our limitations in this hymn to the great integrity. 1. The universal limitations of reality are relative rather than absolute. The answer to every question posed in this verse is therefore no, because nothing exists in its pure ideal form, and because there can be no yin without its opposite, yang. 2. However, the conditions that define our time as the age of transition lead us to answer these questions with a qualified yes. We can now begin this journey, but our generations will never be able to fully actualize the great integrity. Verse 11, the importance of what is not. We join 30 spokes to the hub of a wheel, yet it's the center hole that drives the chariot. We shape clay to birth a vessel, yet it's the hollow within that makes it useful. We chisel doors and windows to construct a room, yet it's the inner space that makes it livable. Thus do we create what is to use what is not. Verse 11 commentary. It may seem that Lao Tzu in this verse advocates what is not over what is. Similarly, he seems to advocate not doing over doing. It would appear that he announces nothingness as the goal of life. To make a pun, nothing could be further from his intent. In fact, he celebrates the maximal doing with the minimal effort. Verse 10, limitations of the Tao De Jing. When embracing the unity of mind, body, emotions, and spiritual being, Verse 3, tempering. Overpraising the gifted leads to contentiousness. Overvaluing the precious invites stealing. Craving the desirable loses contentment. The natural person desires without craving and acts without excess. By not doing, everything is done. The great integrity is an endless abyss, yet it is the inexhaustibly fertile source of the universe. It blunts all sharpness, unties the entangled, and merges with the dust.
empty, yet infinitely full. The more it yields, the more it fills. Countless words count less than the silent balance between yin and yang. The spirit of life never dies. It is the infinite gateway to mysteries within mysteries. It is the seat of yin, the spark of yang, always elusive, endlessly available. The great integrity, having had no birth, expresses its immortality without pronouncements. The wise are heard through the silence, always self-full through selflessness. The highest good is like water, nourishing life effortlessly, flowing without prejudice to the lowliest places. It springs from all who nourish their community with a benevolent heart, as deep as an abyss, who are incapable of lies and injustices, who are rooted in the earth, whose natural rhythms of action play midwife to the highest good of each joyful moment. Okay, this is the Tao Te Ching verses 1 through 8. Hit the like button, subscribe now, listen to more Tao Te Ching. Tao Te Ching, the book of the great way. This is the Tao Te Ching. Verse 3, tempering. Overpraising the gifted leads to contentiousness. Overvaluing the precious invites stealing. Craving the desirable loses contentment. The natural person desires without craving and acts without excess. By not doing, everything is done. The great integrity is an endless abyss, yet it is the inexhaustibly fertile source of the universe. It blunts all sharpness, unties the entangled, and merges with dust. Hidden, but ever present, is parent of the gods, whose child may it be. Yin and yang are sentimental. They exist without moralizing. They act regardless of our wishes, within the ebb and flow of every pregnant moment. Space between yin and yang is like a bellows, empty yet infinitely full. The more it yields, the more it fills. Countless words count less than the silent balance between yin and yang. The spirit of life never dies. It is the infinite gateway to mysteries within mysteries. It is the seat of yin, the spark of yang, always elusive, endlessly available. The great integrity, having had no birth, expresses its immortality without pronouncements. The wise are heard through the silence, always self-full through selflessness. The highest good is like water, nourishing life effortlessly, flowing without prejudice to the lowliest places. It springs from all who nourish their community with a benevolent heart, as deep as an abyss, who are incapable of lies and injustices, who are rooted in the earth, whose natural rhythms of action play midwife to the highest good of each. Candidate Congressman John Kitover, 16th District. 16th District. Verse 10, limitations of the Tao. It's unfortunate because I cannot do a series of small.
Okay, we're continuing on. Hope you're enjoying this reading the Daddy Jing. This is the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, read by candidate Congressman Kitover of the 16th District, working and fighting to defeat an unseen terror. This is verse 11, the Tao Te Ching, the importance of what is not. We join 30 spokes to the hub of a wheel, yet it's the center hole that drives the chariot. We shape clay to birth a vessel, yet it's the hollow within that makes it useful. We chisel doors and windows to construct a room, yet it's the inner space that makes it livable. Thus do we create what is to use and what is not. Verse 12, choices. Colors can make us blind, music can make us deaf, flavors can destroy our taste, possessions can close our options, racing can drive us mad, and its rewards obstruct our peace. Thus, the wise fill the inner gut rather than the eyes, always sacrificing the superficial for the essential. Verse 13, identity. Accolades can usher in great trouble for your body. Censure can herald misery. Why can favor and disfavor both be harmful? Because both accolades and censure, when filtered through self as ego, always place us in jeopardy. When the universe becomes yourself, when you love the world as yourself, all reality becomes your haven, reinventing you as your own heaven. Only then will you transcend tense, to fully be here now. Only then no harm will the universe proffer, nor you to her, for you will be not you but she, and both the universal great integrity. Commentary. Both praise and criticism can result in harm when we relate to the world through an insatiable ego. It is because when so doing, each honor generates a need for an even greater honor. Each dishonor generates a lower self-esteem. However, when we identify ourselves as inextricable parts of the universe, rather than as our separate individual egos, accolades and criticisms, successes and failures no longer have power over us. Transformation from predominant ego identity to predominant community identity is one of our joyful pathways to the great integrity. Verse 14, beyond reason. That which we look at but cannot see is the invisible. That which we listen to but cannot hear is the inaudible. That which we reach for but cannot grasp is the intangible. Beyond reason, these three merge, contradicting experience. The rising side isn't bright, their setting side isn't dark. Senseless, unnameable, they return to the realms of nothingness.
This is verse 11, the Tao Te Ching, importance of what is not. We join 30 spokes to the hub of a wheel, and it's the center hole that drives the chariot. We shape clay. 30 spokes to the hub of a wheel, yet it's the center hole that drives the chariot. We shape clay to birth a vessel, yet it's the hollow within that makes it useful. We chisel doors and windows to construct a room, yet it's the inner space that makes it livable. Thus do we create what is to use and what is not. Verse 12, choices. Colors can make us blind, music can make us deaf, flavors can destroy our taste, possessions can close our options, racing can drive us mad, and its rewards obstruct our peace. Thus, the wise fill the inner gut rather than the eyes, always sacrificing the superficial for the essential. Verse 13, identity. Accolades can usher in great trouble for your body. Censure can herald misery. Why can favor and disfavor both be harmful? Because both accolades and censure, when filtered through self as ego, always place us in jeopardy. But when the universe becomes yourself, when you love the world as yourself, all reality becomes your haven, reinventing you as your own heaven. Only then will you transcend tense to fully be here now. This is right candidate Congressman Kitover. This is first of all. It's unfortunate because I cannot do came out. Maybe they shouldn't have disclosed it, but they did. Maybe they shouldn't have came out. Hey everybody, this is a product review for B Computer, an AI wearable device. This is part one. I'm going to show you how some of the functionality works in the app right here.
Okay, we're persisting and resisting. Little baby boy going back home. Okay, this is Tao Zen Meditation by candidate Congressman Kitover. We're live on X, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Clubhouse. We're reading Tao Te Ching, sipping coffee, smoking a little herb, spreading enlightenment, wisdom. This is your Tao Te Ching ASMR NLP hypnosis by candidate Congressman Kitover, running in the 16th district to defeat and unseat terrorhood. Senseless, unnameable, they return to the realms of nothingness, form without form, image without image, indefinable, ineluctable, elusive. Confronting them, you see no beginning. Following them, you see no end. Yet riding the plowless plow, concede the timeless Tao. Harvesting the secret, transcendence of the now. What is beyond sight, hearing and touching, even beyond reason and experience? A world without the rising light of the setting darkness, where there is neither form nor image, neither beginning nor end. It is the elusive, indefinable, and paradoxical great integrity of the universe, the Tao, which transcends time, space, and matter. What use for the great integrity do we human beings have when we are absorbed in acquiring 10,000 possessions? None. Even worse, it subverts our false values, premises, goals, and institutions. The great integrity is an invitation to the most radical transformation of our lives and consciousness. It is a challenge to transcend civilization, its fragmentation and acquisitiveness, open door to enter life with an uncompromised humanity totally synergistic with the universe. Because it is subversive, the great integrity appears in disguise as a secret transcendence. Verse 15, linking with ancient times. In ancient times, the people knew the great integrity with subtlety and profundity. Because they are so unfathomable to us, we can describe the ancients only with great effort. They were cautious as those crossing an icy stream, wary as those surrounded by dangers, dignified as guests, yielding as melting ice, innocent as virgin wood, open and broad as valleys, merging freely as muddy water. But today, who can remain patient while the mud so gradually clears? Who can remain still while the moment for action so slowly emerges? Who, we observers of the great integrity, who in our times, like those ancients, when never seeking fulfillment, are never unfulfilled. Verse 15 commentary. Ancient times for us 21st century readers of the Tao Te Ching represents a double entendre. We can stand back with Lao Tzu, living in the 6th century BCE, and view his ancient times, by which he means tribal times, and perhaps also the first 1,000 years of Chinese civilization, that is, the era of the first 3 legendary emperors. We can also stand back from our own 21st century.
Image without image, indefinable, ineluctable, elusive, confronting them.
Okay, this is Tao Book Hypnosis. This is Canada John. This has been Hypnosis and Conversation.
You do, yeah. Battered. Man, there was a prison in. Sean Cheese Robert just asked about you.
Speak of the devil and hell appear.
What's up with you, bro? I just asked about you 2 days ago, man, with all the, the political people.
Yeah.
Oh, they gonna happen.
Who is that? Little Chicken Haiti? I'm sitting here in my house. I'm blazing that good old, indica hybrid, reading a secret poem book from ancient China. You know, the Chinaman, he got a lot of philosophy, a lot of intelligence, super high wisdom. You want to hear a verse?
No.
Oh, no.
How about you, go ahead.
All right, hold on.
Leave that girl alone, man. Leave her alone.
I'm just saying, I don't want to hear this nigga spell and shit.
Leave her
Yeah,
alone.
it's a spell book. It's a Chinese spell book.
Let's not spell.
I thought I was right in front of you, John.
It is, but I'm setting it up because I'm going to record it onto YouTube. You know, this is Motown you're talking to here. Everything I do, I record.
So why you ain't been on the app?
I've been on the app. I'm on this app all day long. I use it. I record my entire day on this app. You just don't go to my rooms.
I haven't seen you in like, I haven't seen you in like a month.
Oh, well, they deleted my accounts. This is like,
I was worried about you.
yeah, these are new accounts. They deleted everything. Clown House doesn't like me. Because you know what happens is my accounts, they grow too big, and then, you know, Dr. Adams, he's the biggest F-word, N-word on this app, and he loves to get me deleted.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But
Adams is about to get married.
somebody's gonna marry that F-word, N-word?
Yeah. They get married to a white dude.
Oh shit, that makes sense. He's got the IQ. So who here believes in magic?
Oh God.
Oh, God. We should know. I don't even want to hear it now.
Well, see, listen, if you are an ADOS, if you're an ADOS and your descendants were put in slave ships and came to America in the year, 1850 or 1800, the Chinese go back easily 2,500. Chinese history makes American history look, really new, really recent, because Chinese history goes back really far. And this spell book is 2,600 years old. It's basically like very raw because it deals with the hard facts of life, which is nature, life and death, the earth, and it was written. It was written 600 years before Christ was crucified. There's an audiobook on YouTube. You can listen to it. I've suggested people listen to it, and I've had people come up to me in the real world and say, hey, I just wanted to thank you. I've been listening to that audiobook, and it really is transformational. It's so, because it's very smart. It's easy to understand.
Danny, what's up, Danny?
Bye, Danny.
Press.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm eating really good rice. It's so good. It tastes so good. Dimitri made it. So good.
You gotta put rice. You gotta put
It's so good.
raisins with dates in it. Dates and raisins.
What?
Wow.
Wild ass shit.
No, it's like Afghani.
Yeah, that's
So
Persian.
good.
That's Persian stuff.
So this is like Spanish rice from Goya in a box, but it tastes so good and it's gluten free. It's delicious.
What's going on, Evans? Evans? I'll get you later. Shut the fuck up, please. God damn. I feel like you just struggle to do whatever you do. Now I struggle to be sick. What the fuck is you talking about? You know, look at that struggle to get that bag of chips. I eat chips. What your fat ass eating? My rabbi. You eat cookies, your fat ass. I want to listen to chocolate. You don't care, you feeling suicidal. Seriously, what you smacking on, though, gang? Koya. Ain't no tell that what you said, right? Koya. Koya, what you smacking on?
Yo, Oscar, did you see this NBA Mafia?
Oh man, it's going crazy. Yeah, they're trying to take people down for sports ban.
But it's Cash Patel, the Indian FBI director. He's the one bringing down the mafia. But he's calling it mafia. It's like,
Yeah.
man, fucking sports is the biggest bullshit in the world. It's not just tied into the gambling, even though that's a huge aspect. Well, it was also these fake poker card games they have in these undercover casinos. The mafia were spying on the other players and ripping everybody off. So, I've been reading this book called The Tao Te Ching, which means the great way of the great integrity. And if you read it out loud and you put it on YouTube, it's like magic. It creates brilliance in your life. I'm also using this new AI wearable device called Beat Computer, and it listens to everything and creates suggestions, to-dos, calendar events, summaries. So everything on Clubhouse is being transcribed into Beat Computer. Everything I say, and then it creates a whole bunch of content based on what it's listening to. Okay, you want to hear a chapter from this magic Chinese spell book? It's called Tranquility. So it's meditation. Take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10 seconds. 10, not 11, 10, not 9. The name of this Tao Te Ching verse is called Tranquility. Allow the heart to empty itself of all turmoil. Retrieve the utter tranquility of mind from which you issued.
I'm tripping, man. You gotta get the fuck out of here.
Although all forms are dynamic and we all grow and transform, each of us is compelled to return to our root. Our root is quietude. To fully return to our root is to be enlightened. Never to experience tranquility is to act blindly, a sure path to disaster. To know tranquility is to embrace all. To embrace all is to be just. Justice is the foundation for wholeness. Wholeness is the great integrity. The great integrity is the infinite fulfilling itself. Ever since we human beings acquired the capacity to feel separate from all that is not I, a process sociologists call alienation, we have lost the tranquility that is inherent in living as an inextricable part of nature. This process escalated during the evolution of what we euphemistically call civilization, the predominant form of society during these past few millennia. In civilizations, we not only became separated from all that is not I, but we became the enemies of each other, of our environment, and even of ourselves. Consequently, we had to invent cultural compensations for our loss of wholeness and for our destructive social relations. Religion, holiness, and the arts, creativity were developed as virtual institutions that help us to momentarily re experience the harmony and tranquility that is no longer inherent in everyday life. Here, Lao Tzu reminds us that it is the nature of nature to emerge from and return to peace of undifferentiated oneness, that is, to the great integrity, and the failure to do so is fatal. Hilarious. Okay, everybody, this is John Kitover. Go to johnforcongress.com. Hit like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed that reading from the Tao Te Ching.
You know what I'm saying? Mention you in a couple of comments and memes, but after you gone, you gone. And it's
Allow the heart to empty itself of all turmoil. Retrieve the utter tranquility of mind from which you issued.
That was a bad move, wasn't it? I was running an experiment that I didn't want to see the results on. I'm talking about something about something. Okay, this is Taoist Tao hypnosis with Canada John. These are 3-minute clips. We've already done 6 Taoist readings this morning from the Tao Te Ching. We've passed the 10th verse. I hope you're enjoying this live stream forwards and backwards. This is Candidate John. Go to johnforcongress.com. Leaders. There are 4 types of leaders. The best leader is indistinguishable from the will of those who selected her. The next best leader enjoys the love and praise of the people. The poor leader rules through coercion and fear. And the worst leader is a tyrant, despised by the multitudes who are the victims of his power. What a world of difference among these leaders. In the last 2 types, what is done is without sincerity or trust, only coercion. In the second type, there is a harmony between the leader and the people. In the first type, whatever is done happens so naturally that no one presumes to take the credit. Verse 17 commentary. We are familiar with all these kinds of leaders except for the first type. In the early days of the revolutions, Thomas Jefferson, Vladimir Lenin, Mao Zedong, and Fidel Castro were the second type. Joseph Stalin ruled through coercion and fear. And Hitler was certainly a tyrant who was despised by hundreds of millions of people throughout the world. Those leaders who rule by fear, coercion, and tyranny do not acquire and sustain their power simply by some mysterious force. Such leaders require an army of people who are willing to serve as enforcers of injustice. Furthermore, in what may at first consideration be astonishing, such leaders first come to power through at least the tacit approval of the majority, even though it leads to their victimization. How can such a rationality envelop an entire nation like a plague? Some answers are suggested by Lao Tzu in the next 3 verses, 18, 19, and 20, which elucidate some of the consequences of losing the great integrity. Where do we find examples of the first type of leaders, the kind whose leadership is so indistinguishable from the will of those who select them that no one presumes to take the credit for anything that is done? Indeed, such leaders are not to be found anywhere in the written history of civilizations. Only pre-civilization leaders in democratic and egalitarian tribal societies had no need, no possibility to take credit for the interactive cooperative efforts and accomplishments of the entire community. In Lao Tzu's time, there was no way that such a totally democratic community could reemerge. That is possible only today, now that we have a technology that can provide the material and cultural needs of all people on our planet. For us to continue to make war with each other and to continue to elect leaders who carry out inhuman sectarian acts is now social insanity. Verse 18, the paradoxes of abandoning the great integrity. When the great integrity was abandoned, humanity and justice appeared. When knowledge and teachers appeared, hypocrisy was their inevitable accompaniment. When relationships lost their harmony, filial piety and parental affection was suddenly birthed.
The best leader is indistinguishable from the will
Like this video, this is
of those who select
by Lao
her.
Tzu, read by Canada John.
The next best leader enjoys the love and praise of the people. The poor leader rules through coercion and fear. our root. Our root is quietude. To fully return to our root is to be enlightened. Never to experience tranquility is to act blindly. A sure path to disaster. To know tranquility is to embrace all. To embrace all is to be just. Justice is the foundation for wholeness. Wholeness is the great integrity. The great integrity is the infinite fulfilling itself. Ever since we human beings acquired the capacity to feel separate from all that is not I, a process sociologists call alienation, we have lost the tranquility that is inherent in living as an inextricable part of nature. This process escalated during the evolution of what we euphemistically call civilization, the predominant form of society during these past few millennia. In civilizations, we not only became separated from all that is not I, but we became the enemies of each other, of our environment, and even of ourselves. Consequently, we had to invent cultural compensations for our loss of wholeness and for our destructive social relations. Religion, holiness, and the arts, creativity were developed as virtual institutions that help us to momentarily re-experience the harmony and tranquility that is no longer inherent in everyday life. Here, Lao Tzu reminds us that it is the nature of nature to emerge from and return to peace of undifferentiated oneness, that is, to the great integrity, and the failure to do so is fatal. There are 4 types of leaders. The best leader is indistinguishable from the will of those who selected her. The next best leader enjoys the love and praise of the people. The poor leader rules through coercion and fear. And the worst leader is a tyrant, despised by the multitudes who are the victims of his power. What a world of difference among these leaders. The last 2 types, what is done is without sincerity or trust, only coercion. In the second type, there is a harmony between the leader and the people. In the first type, whatever is done happens so naturally that no one presumes to take the credit. Verse 17 commentary. We are familiar with all these kinds of leaders except for the first type. In the early days of the revolutions, Thomas Jefferson, Vladimir Lenin, Mao Zedong, and Fidel Castro were the second type. Joseph Stalin ruled through coercion and fear. And Hitler was certainly a tyrant who was despised by hundreds of millions of people throughout the world. Those leaders who rule by fear, coercion, and tyranny do not acquire and sustain their power simply by some mysterious force. Such leaders require an army of people who are willing to serve as enforcers of injustice. Furthermore, in what may at first consideration be astonishing, such leaders come first come to power through at least the tacit approval of the majority, even though it leads to their victimization. How can such irrationality envelop an entire nation like a plague? Some answers are suggested by Lao Tzu in the next 3 verses, 18, 19, and 20, which elucidate some of the consequences of losing the great integrity. Where do we find examples of the first type of leaders, the kind whose leadership is so indistinguishable from the will of those who select them that no one presumes to take the credit for anything that is done? Indeed, such leaders are not to be found anywhere in the written history of civilizations. Only pre-civilization leaders in democratic and egalitarian tribal societies had no need, no possibility to take credit for the interactive cooperative efforts and accomplishments of the entire community. In Lao Tzu's time, there was no way that such a totally democratic community could re-emerge. It is possible only today, now that we have a technology that can provide the material and cultural needs of all people on our planet. For us to continue to make war with each other, and to continue to elect leaders who carry out inhuman sectarian acts, is now social insanity. Verse 18 paradoxes of abandoning the great integrity. When the great integrity was abandoned, humanity and justice appeared. When knowledge and teachers appeared, hypocrisy was their inevitable accompaniment. There are 4 types of leaders. The best leader is indistinguishable from the will of those who selected her. The next best leader enjoys the love and praise of the people. The poor leader rules through coercion and fear. Water, nourishing life effortlessly. This is your nourishing process. It springs from all who nourish their community with a benevolent. Congressman.
Okay, we're at 7 videos. We got 3 more to go. Exceed. Okay, this is your Tao Te Ching meditation with Candidate John. Go to johnforcongress.com. We are advocating for defunding the big, beautiful bill, as well as proposing a Balanced Budget Act. Those will be our 2 first HR acts. Defunding instead of funding. That's right. Pulling, not praying. Pulling, not spending. Pull. You wanted to spend on that? No. Spending is insane. It's more than you can possibly even conceive. It is so huge and so vast. It's the biggest contracting scam on the planet. Anyways, this is your Tao Te Ching. 3 minutes of Taoist meditation with Candidate John. Hope you're enjoying this morning's meditation. Go to johnforcongress.com. We got a hard cutoff of about 27 minutes. Then we're headed to the gym at 1 o'clock for a second day workout number 2. Here we go. Tao Te Ching. Paradoxes of abandoning the great integrity. This is your Taoist Tao Te Ching ASMR Lao Tzu meditation read by Candidate Congressman John Kitover. The paradoxes of abandoning the great integrity. When the great integrity was abandoned, humanity and justice appeared. When knowledge and teachers appeared, hypocrisy was their inevitable accompaniment. When relationships lost their harmony, filial piety and parental affection were suddenly birthed. When a nation succumbs to chaos and corruption, patriotic politicians are always at hand, announcing themselves. Verse 18 commentary. When civilization exchanged the great integrity for the universal fragmentation of all entities, integrity was sacrificed at the altar of measuring and pricing each fragment. This process of integrity dismemberment is rationalized by logical ideologies, which are intellectualizations that are severed from holistic life experience. Accordingly, Lao Tzu ignores these vested, static, logical illusions, preferring to speak in the paradoxical language of processes and transformations. In this verse, it is implied that many people celebrate humanity and justice as ideal universal virtues, but Lao Tzu knows that when the great integrity was abandoned, inhumanity and injustice became universal experiences. He also reminds us that we have come to know humanity only as a release from the inhumanity that dominates life. In fact, there can be no awareness of humanity without inhumanity, no justice without injustice, right without wrong. As verse 2 relativity points out, we know beauty because there is ugly and good because there is evil. The great integrity does not know justice because it does not know injustice. This verse thereby implies part of the answer to the question in the previous verse 17, leaders. Why should a majority contribute to their own victimization? One way is by succumbing to the ideologies that rationalize inequities and injustices as though they are inherent in life itself rather than the consequences of selling our holistic souls, the great integrity, to the fragmentized marketplace. By accepting these ideologies as universal truths, we accommodate to our own shackles. Verse 19, the paradoxes of returning to the great integrity. Banish the intellectual, discard knowledge, we will all benefit 100-fold. Eliminate all institutions of charity and justice. We can then return to our natural love for each other. Let everyone be released from our addictions to shrewdness and profit. Then thievery will disappear. These three negate the great integrity, but to negate these negations is insufficient. 3 affirmations are also necessary. The first is to embrace simplicity and integrity. The second is to consume only the needs of our body and soul. The third is to allow our love and concern for others to define our essentiality. Verse 19 commentary. Lao Tzu suggests that we discard knowledge and eliminate charity and justice.
The paradoxes of abandoning the great integrity. When the great integrity was abandoned, humanity and justice appeared. When knowledge and teachers appeared, hypocrisy was their inevitable accompaniment. When relationships
And we continue on. Looks like we are now at 7.
The paradoxes of abandoning great integrity. When the great integrity was abandoned, humanity and justice appeared. When knowledge and teachers appeared, hypocrisy was their inevitable accompaniment. When relationships lost their harmony, filial piety and parental affection were suddenly birthed. When a nation succumbs to chaos and corruption, patriotic politicians were always at hand, announcing themselves. Verse 18 commentary: when civilization exchanged the great integrity for the universal fragmentation of all entities, integrity was sacrificed at the altar of measuring and pricing each fragment. This process of integrity dismemberment is rationalized by logical ideologies, which are intellectualizations that are separate from holistic life experience. Accordingly, Lao-Tzu ignores these vested, static, logical illusions, preferring to speak in the paradoxical language of processes and transformations. In this verse, it is implied that many people celebrate humanity and justice as ideal universal virtues. Lao-Tzu knows that when the great integrity was abandoned, inhumanity and injustice became universal experiences. He also reminds us that we have come to know humanity only as a release from the inhumanity that dominates life. In fact, there can be no awareness of humanity without inhumanity, no justice without injustice, right without wrong. This verse 2 relativity points out we know beauty because there is ugly and good because there is evil. The great integrity does not know justice because it does not know injustice. This verse thereby implies part of the answer to the question in the previous verse 17 leaders. Why should a majority contribute? John.
Okay, take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10 seconds. We just created a picture to video on YouTube. This is the Tao Te Ching. We're continuing on with verse 19, the paradoxes of returning to the great integrity. You see there's drafts in this phone?
Over the world. Over the world. The paradoxes of abandoning the great integrity. There are 4 types of leaders. Unseen, terror, 16th district. This is the damage. Raised, we harvested down.
We'll see if this works. We're going in for some more Tao Te Ching. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paradoxes of returning to the great integrity. This is Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching ASMR hypnosis experience read to you by candidate Congressman John running in the 16th district to defeat an unseen terror lord. This is verse 19, the paradoxes of returning to the great integrity. Banish the intellectual, discard knowledge. We will all benefit 100-fold. Eliminate all institutions of charity and justice. We can then return to our natural love for each other. Let everyone be released from our addictions to shrewdness and profit. Then thievery will disappear. These 3 negate the great integrity. But to negate these negations is insufficient. 3 affirmations are also necessary. The first is to embrace simplicity and integrity. The second is to consume only the needs of our body and soul. The third is to allow our love and concern for others to define our essentiality. Verse 19 commentary. Lao Tzu suggests that we discard knowledge and eliminate charity and justice. He doesn't ask us to discard ignorance and eliminate selfishness and injustice, as we might expect from someone who is dedicated to improving life. There are 2 implications in Lao Tzu's carefully selected terminology. 1, for Lao Tzu, it is not enough only to reduce ignorance, selfishness, and injustice. These despicable characteristics need to be entirely eliminated. When ignorance no longer exists, there cannot be intellectuals who are the only knowledgeable ones. When no one is deprived, charity will have no use and will disappear from our lives and vocabularies. When injustice disappears, the concept of justice will have no meaning. In a world in which ideologies function as rationales for inequities, logic can be utilized manipulatively. Lao Tzu's frequent use of paradox, discard knowledge and we will all benefit 100-fold, is a way of shocking us, shaking up our old modes of thinking so that we become open to an alternative consciousness. For us, it is also an in-your-face rejection of Platonian and Cartesian logic as rigid, mechanistic, and anachronistic. This verse not only points out the obstacles to our experiencing life holistically, it also declares three prerequisites. 1. To embrace simplicity and integrity. 2. To consume only the needs of our body and soul. And 3. To allow our love and concern for others and, of course, for ourselves to define our identities. Verse 20. The sadness of superficialities and of the unfulfilled great integrity. It is sometimes deeply depressing to be a rebel, knowing that we can never share most people's way of life, nor can they share ours. Schooling stuffs the brains of our children with trivia. The more the trivia, the more their anxieties. They indoctrinate the children to believe that the consequences are grave when they fail to distinguish good from evil.
This is verse 19. The paradoxes of returning to the great integrity. Banish the intellectual, discard knowledge. We will benefit 100-fold. Eliminate all instant.
Hello, hello. Hello? Hello? Turbo power is connected. Hello? Harlequin. Are you there, my little Harlequin?
Hello? Oh, did you go to Clown House University too and get a doctorate there? Honk, honk.
So, remember when I first came on the app and I first met you and we kind of had the same conversation?
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I wish to indulge in the hedonistic ways of Clubhouse. Well, I've changed my mind.
Oh, I agree.
Let's burn it all down.
Yeah, burn it down, boil it, throw it out, clean it, cook it.
Eat it.
Yeah, chunk it, put it in the garbage, get something new. Everybody changes their wardrobe. Some people dramatically do it. Some people do it over time, slowly. I like the slow approach. I like to cook my food slowly.
Yeah. What are you going for in the first place, right? I mean, when I was a kid, I had favorite. I had a favorite shirt.
Yeah.
Couldn't get rid of that. Like Jerry Seinfeld to have the golden boy, Golden boy. I'm a fan of the Jews.
One of the best things you can do is siloing, capturing, but also never ingesting. And people on this app will fill up all your silos. You never have to listen to them, speak with them, engage with them, entertain them, or give them any type of credibility or credence or any type of acknowledgement. And so all I'm trying to say is take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10 seconds. I think it's kind of funny how we even call Clubhouse an app, because technically it's just people using their phone to talk to each other. So it's like a phone app in a phone, and that's all it is it's your phone. Like the app, is non-existent. It's just a platform on a platform on a platform. But what people say here is what's important. And right now I'm recording Clown House in another recording studio, and it is the most, if you really listen to what people are saying, it's tragic, because people are repeating themselves over and over again, saying the same exact thing day after day, their little catchphrases, and that's it. I mean, and so the problem is people are wasting their time learning nothing new. They're not actually creating any magic. Their sounds suck. So your whole life just depends on your sounds. All your success, all your failures will always depend on the sounds that you
Give me your
create.
hate. Give me all of it. Yeah. I hear you. I just said I want to burn it down, but I mean, you can't say there's no magic, John. Is your name John?
Yes, Candidate John.
Oh, okay. John. It's such a basic, but it's a good movie name,
Well, don't forget who introduced Jesus. John.
No, kind of. You put yourself there, aren't you?
Well, I mean, John baptized Jesus. John started.
Baptist, man, he's the guy to be. He's the wild man on the edge of town. He's the shaman.
Yeah, John started the first baptism franchise. Spread like wildfire. Most popular baptism franchise ever created.
Jesus was like, this is the guy.
my dad was like, "Who should we name him after?" And my grandfather was like, "Name him John." And then my dad said, "Why?" He said, "Because your father's name was John." Okay, this is the Tao Te Ching. This is hypnosis. All communication is hypnosis. All communication is suggestion. And so it's also meditation. So take the deepest breath of the day. This is candidate Congressman John Kitover reading from the Tao Te Ching. This is your ASMR NLP hypnosis meditation.
John, can I stop you? I'm going to stop you because we didn't talk about the magic. Now, I'm going to hold you to it because I agree.
To escape the rubbish of all this so-called knowledge in the winter, people run to the great feasts of lamb, pork, and ox, and they climb high in the mountains to view the first signs of spring. We are so different, having no desire for the trivialities, nor for their compensations. We are like infants, not yet knowing how to laugh, ever wandering and having no home to which we may return. While most people are obsessed with superficialities, we feel empty. While most people feel they know so much, we feel simple-minded. While most people believe they live happily in the best of all possible worlds, we are despaired to witness this world. It is so painful to know that we will always be outsiders, endlessly moving like the ocean, aimlessly blowing like the wind. While we fear what others fear, we don't treasure what others treasure. Our treasure is the great integrity. However, until it is shared, it will not be the universal integrity. For we are part of them, and they are part of us. Verse 20 commentary. How often we who are rebels have despaired? We identify with Lao Tzu and his frustrations. We have so often shared his sadness and his discouragement of not being accepted by either the power elite or by the majority, who are often cleverly manipulated to identify with the very views that victimize them. Of course, those who have the power and the privileges of wealth are opposed to any radical changes. They want to conserve the power and privileges, so they are known as conservatives. Though some pretend to side with the people, giving themselves liberal-sounding names. The privileged elite also controls the main belief systems that rationalize the inequities of power. Today, they do so by owning and controlling the main media that mold the views of the public. Even more fundamentally, they control the jobs that provide the money that buys all the necessities of life. No wonder we have a hard time being heard. No wonder we feel isolated and alienated from the mainstreams of social, political, and economic life. Such have been the frustrations of us rebels since the time of Lao Tzu. But at last today we have an alternative. We can form a global community and return to the great integrity when children will no longer be indoctrinated with trivia, and adults will no longer suffer the inhumanities that are masked by overindulgent escapes. It makes us wish that Lao Tzu were among us to appreciate and celebrate these new opportunities, but of course he is in these very verses.
We didn't talk about the magic. Now, I'm going to hold you to it.
To escape the rubbish of all this so-called knowledge in the winter, people run to the great feasts of lamb, pork, and ox, and they... To escape the rubbish of all...
Okay, Harlequin, that's my 3 minutes of hypnosis for you, and you too, I hope you enjoyed.
I knew you were going to take credit for it as hypnosis, but I was kind of in my own thoughts anyway. I was tuning in and out, but that could always just be part of the hypnosis, right? So it's
Yeah, it induces a state of deep relaxation. It's hypnosis, and it creates amnesia. Artfuls here.
I wish I could remember what I was going to tell you, because I was about to lecture you about something. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say, why are you... Because I mentioned earlier, I agree with the general sentiment, and a lot of the specific things that you might tack on. But when you say there's no magic, because I think, John, the idea is that the devil is allowed to vitiate, to permeate, if not even vitiate, the church, right? I don't think the idea we're playing with is like, because rather on your characterization, it would be more like there's not even a spark of life in this like den of iniquity, right? I would agree with the part where it's like fairly characterized as a den of iniquity, but to say there's not even a spark, I would disagree with, because I've seen magic on this app. It's just you wouldn't expect maybe to find it as frequently, right? For good reasons. What do you think about that, John? My anecdotal, nebulous, argument. What do you think of that?
It sounds fine to me. I hope you're satisfied with your
I can
thought.
give you like a specific example if you'd like.
Okay, you got 30 seconds.
Forget it.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like you want to hear it.
No, if you can do it in 30 seconds.
Stay stuck in your ways.
30 seconds is apparently not enough time for you. I understand.
I guess I'm just wondering why you're so angry.
I'm not angry. I'm over here clicking and working and, working. What are you doing?
What are you working on?
The Dow.
Can you for like to be more specific?
Yeah, I'm looking at 15 cell phones facing me, and I have many YouTube accounts where I am recording 3-minute intervals of reading the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, the Chinaman wisdom book. You ever heard of a smart book ever written? It's called Lao Tzu Tao Te Ching, the great way and the great universal integrity. Hiya! What do you think about that, Harlequin?
Who do you I mean, if I gave you like kind of a bougie, like a not bougie, but basic household name, like Baba Ram.
Baba Ramdas?
Richard Alpert, right? The Harvard professor guy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that guy?
He's great.
In what way?
Oh, I've heard many of his lectures. They're very, very peaceful, very intelligent, and he mixes humor and anecdote and personal experience. And he reads from the Tao Te Ching, and he reads from the Shin Ming, he reads from sacred text. He's a very intelligent teacher, been through it all. He's our American guru.
Yeah, tell me, really. I mean, truly.
Yeah.
What do you think about assuming because even if I'm sure you may be familiar with this concept, even if you haven't heard him specifically talk about it, but assuming you've heard him say or speak to this idea of like what his master, his guru, I always say his name wrong, but if you're familiar with his guru when he went to India, and how his guru at one point gives him this idea of like how he essentially needs to come back and rejoin the curriculum. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I like to, change, move things, and enjoy, being productive. And so going in and out of systems professionally, spiritually, even economically can be transformative. But I like a certain status quo and predictability in my standard of living. And so therefore I have a lot of squirrels on my property, and this tenant one time, he was saying how shitty the Democrats are, and I was like, if you and I were like these squirrels which constantly organize, I was like, we'd have no problems. So whatever you're trying to achieve, it's best to try to achieve it by being highly organized. And thus, you prioritize intelligence and intelligent communication. So that's the purpose of this room. Unlike other rooms, and I would say that the spark of life in many of these other rooms is not there. There is a very serious depression within many of the moderators in many of these rooms, and the fact that they are here listening to all of this garbage and vulgarity and filth and stupidity can only bring someone down. There's no enlightenment there. There's no light. There's no wisdom. There's no intelligence, and thus you live in a state of brain rot. And you know, I have made the conscious choice of what I want to listen to and what I want to say and when I want to say it, and I like controlling that because time is limited, opportunities are few, and you only get so many shots at getting what you want in life. And if you self-sabotage because you're wasting your time and filling yourself with brain rot, well, good luck. I don't think things are going to change for you unless you change your consciousness. And no one on this app.
John, I don't think I've heard you say that in such a succinct and eloquent way. And it's not, I don't know. You may all the time. I can now really put it together. Absolutely. It's a kind of a sentiment I would have guessed that you would have expressed. But, John, like that right there is something that it's not always as palatable unless you hear it in those words. The way that you would if you were amongst that person, like in a way that we are now. The curriculum is like you're going back to school, but it's not like a re-education necessarily. It's to say you're back in the thick of it, right? You're at the lunch table in the loud ass. You're in the trenches, right? When you're a kid, for better for worse, you're there amongst them. And I think about how Balaram, he was a death dealer. He sat with people in prisons, when they were dying, and he helped prepare them. When I think about Terrence McKenna, like he brought up one time this like zany, kind of silly idea of like a natural state of like through time dilation, through the expulsion of DMT, this like necroptic substance that seems to anticipate the death state, as you put it. Perhaps through time dilation and the warping of your perception of time, you would feel as though you were extended into the space, almost for an eternity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, hell or heaven would be setting, right? It would be your disposition, would be your life, your regrets, your your self-perception, etc., so forth, right? Facing God in that way. It's almost like a natural form of the afterlife of obviously there's not a lot of credibility to that, but I think you put these things together and it's like, just for a variety of reasons, being a death dealer is like, wow, what a nice thing to do for someone, right? Especially if any of that is true, right? All the more. But even if it isn't, and it probably isn't, it's like, when I was in jail, you came and saw me, right? When I was hungry, you fed me. So I understand everything you're saying. I agree. But, again, I'll use myself as an example. Like, with what you just said, the way even that you put it, that was a learning opportunity for me. Because I have to keep reminding myself that, right? That I have to, this is just my life, right? This is my one life.
This is my life.
I'm wasting my time,
it's
right?
now or never.
Good job. You're not
I'm gonna bring it together.
That's what I'm saying. That the souls don't meant to come together in like this way. Like it's supposed to be like music playing in the background, and it's supposed to be really like cinematic.
Okay.
Basically
Harlequin, what's your real name?
That's it.
No, what's your name? Peter, Paul, John, Mark, Mary. What is it?
No, it's Harlequin. That's born and raised.
All right. Well, then I'm just gonna call you.
I come from a long line of Harlequins.
I'm just gonna call you. What
It's
should
like
I?
a typical
Why
John.
don't I
It's
give
not
you like a? I'll just call you Lao Tzu because this is the Taoist hypnosis room. Listen, Lao Tzu.
I know everyone likes to say Harley Quinn, but it's not. It's like I am the. It's like from ancient Egypt, you know, like.
Listen, Lao Tzu. You got. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. Then you gotta go on mute because I'm gonna read from the Tao Te Ching
Or
again.
at least.
I was gonna ask you about meditation, and I hope you enjoy this meditation because this is meditation work here. This for me is work, and so I hope you enjoy this read. Reading a book
Well,
is
good
work.
For you, John, but what I'm saying, what I wanted to say, like,
You got.
the way I
I'll
wanted
give
to
you 30
finish this off,
seconds. I'll give you 30
Hold
seconds.
on. No, wait. I want to finish
You
this
got
off.
30 seconds, and then I'm gonna lower the volume on my phone. I'm just gonna start auto reading from a book. That's it. So go ahead. You got 30 seconds.
I'm gonna pinch this loaf. You have to be amongst. If you want to, like effectively evangelize. Like who are any of us to stand above? Like, I could.
Okay, take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10 seconds, everybody. This is your ASMR NLP Tao Te Ching experience, recorded by candidate Congressman John Kitover, running in the 16th district to defeat Darren Lord. This is the Tao Te Ching. The great integrity is a paradox. Verse 21 of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. The great integrity is a paradox. It is inherent in the universe, yet its form is so elusive. It is the vital essence of every entity, yet nothing announces its essential character. The great integrity was apparent before time, space, and matter appeared to separate. How can we remind and reinfuse ourselves with this very touchstone of all essentialities and connections? By refusing time, space, and matter with the spiritualization of our materiality and with the materialization of our spirituality. Then, when our dualities and numeralities become blurred and forgotten, the great integrity will reemerge in forms of such incredible depths and dimensions of enlightenment, precisely because our temporary fragmentary consciousness created a multimillennial amnesia. Verse 21 commentary. In this case, I took some liberalities with the translation to bring Lao Tzu's essential idea of the great integrity as paradox into contemporary terms and issues. While Lao Tzu refers to substance, essence, and belief and the fragmentation of all things and ideas, I translate this as the separation of time, space, and matter. Of course, the integrity of energy, time, space, and matter with Lao Tzu intuits and calls the great integrity has been scientifically verified by Einstein with its specific relations defined by his well-known E=mc² equation. Even by Lao Tzu's time, dualism and quantifications began to replace the great integrity in the categorizing and enumerating of the 10,000 things. Of course, modern institutions and science since the time of Descartes and Newton greatly escalated the process. Gradually, competition and fragmentation began more and more to appear as the nature of nature and of the universe, thereby rationalizing the organization of societies into competing units as natural and inevitable. The accompanying philosophies dichotomized mind and matter, spirituality and materiality, and provided the ideological basis for the separation of religion from science. Each philosophy and religion developed its own explanation for how misery and inhumanity are inherent in the nature of everything that doesn't reside in heaven. But it was this very fragmentized consciousness that produced modern science and technology, which in turn now provides the material basis for the possibility for planetary abundance. As we approach the establishment of a possible egalitarian planetary community, the dualistic underpinnings of life as relative scarcity can begin to crumble, allowing us to spiritualize our materiality and materialize our spirituality.
The great integrity is a paradox. Verse 21 of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. The great integrity is a paradox. It is inherent in the universe, yet its form is so elusive.
Okay, this is Dallas. No, this is Canada. John, hope you enjoy. Go to johnforcongress.com. Thanks. Bye.